So good morning. It's June 8th, 2021. I'm Joe Weston, and we're here for our weekly online practice for reviving the global heart. And it is great to see familiar faces. And as always, it is great to see new faces, people from various parts of North America, from various parts of Europe and around the world who join us, who share in a common vision of holding space for a world where lasting peace is possible. And that each one of us can play a part in that. And that as we gather, we share with each other, we witness each other, we support one another, and we practice together to increase our skills and our resilience and our fierce compassion so that we can increase our scope of influence to be able to be part of a movement or that where we're moving towards this idea of a unified heart and a planet of lasting peace. And I am deeply, deeply honored to have as our guest this week, Dot Maver. I think you know by now with all of the people I bring as guests that I'm not just bringing people who like to talk about these things, but that they're actually practitioners. At least that's my viewpoint. That you may have a different viewpoint, and I would say Dot is certainly that. To me, Dot is, on some level, she's a beacon for the peace movements around the world. To just say some of the things that she's working on, she's an educator and a peace builder, and she's co-founder of the Global Silent Minute, the Global Alliance for Ministries and Infrastructure of Peace, the National Peace Academy USA, and the River Phoenix Center for Peace Building. I think you see a common theme in there, at least I do. And that's just some of the things that she is doing. And I would say that my experience with Dot is that she doesn't just advocate for peace. My sense is that she embodies peace. And that she's a true practitioner and a vision, a mentor for many of us. And I'm not sure how Dot and I met. I think I know, but somehow she's just wandered into my life. I've wandered into her life, and it's just a joy. And I'm just honored to have you here, Dot. And as I ask with all of our guests, please share anything you'd like to share about yourself. So the way this is set up is that Dot's going to speak a bit about what she wants to share about her vision of reviving the global heart, or about peace, or whatever comes up in her heart. I will then lead us in the practice that we do weekly, and then there'll be time for you to ask questions or reflect on things that Dot has said and on the practice. So Dot, welcome.
Oh, thank you. And I think I need to say tak, dankeschön, right? We could kind of go around the world. Yeah, thank you so much, Joe. And what a blessing to continue to meet in so many Zoom rooms. During COVID, John Raymer, the founder of Sign Network, SINE.network, has said we needed to be separated in order to be brought together, in order to come together. And there is an intimacy that I find in a Zoom room that takes me to my knees. So I had said to Joe and Todd when we spoke about me sharing a few thoughts, I'm happy to do that. What I'd like to do is share just a couple of thoughts, and then Joe and Todd, a conversation would be wonderful, or however we want to do that. And I know that there will be time to converse with everyone, because that's the real communing that needs to happen right now. Communing in community, so that in unity, as we come together and unite our hearts across distance, which, by the way, in Agni Yoga, which is a spiritual lineage for me, in Agni Yoga, it's said that the great experiment of co-workers coming together and uniting their hearts across distance awaits those who will say yes to cooperate in that way. And I think many of us on the planet right now are saying yes to that. So for me, joy is a special wisdom. It's not about being happy or thrilled with something, but joy is truly a special wisdom. And Joe, it was tested this weekend in Maine. One of the groups that you didn't mention, I always hear what I'm involved in. It makes me tired. I'm like, oh my goodness, because that's only like a third of the list. It's like, wow, I'm so blessed to be involved with so many wonderful initiatives on the planet. And one that I am serving with right now is the Ungun Institute, UNGUN Institute.com. And Dr. Marty Casey is the founder, and she founded Ungun Institute after Michael Brown was shot and killed in Ferguson, Missouri, in the United States, which basically inspired the Black Lives Matter movement. Having said that, ungunning, it's an interesting title. It is about guns because we could do away with the gun violence, but my deal is let's do away with all violence. Let's make violence history. Since I was 13, that has been my mission. So I said, I want my job to be redundant, right? So I tell my friends in Australia all the time. So at any rate, after that, Marty, she wanted to help somehow. And so she founded the Show Me Arts Academy, showmeartsacademy.org, to help the children, to help them heal through the arts, literally, so that they could remove the trauma bullets that they received in Ferguson and the greater St. Louis area, and then learn to be themselves in a way that is healed and whole, because she says hurt people, healed people, heal people. And we've been building an infrastructure and offering collective trauma healing workshops, and it's been profound. And not just racial healing. I shouldn't say just, my goodness, forgive me. Not just racial healing, but each of us really healing and learning to come together then in wholeness. And the definition of peace for me is living in right relationship with self, others, and all life. If we lived that version of peace, I submit we would have peace on earth. So this weekend, we had our very first training of trainers, because the Zoom workshops have been so successful that in October, we're going to do an in-person one in Bath, Maine, USA, at some place called the Chocolate Church. It's awesome. So showcasing the arts. And in the middle of the training, one of the participants got a call that they had lost a child to gun violence. Take that in. In the middle of training to facilitate Zoom gatherings like this, where people will come and their trauma might not be that kind of violence, because collective trauma in the US could be January 6th. Whatever side of the fence you stand on, it was still very traumatizing. So with that, we took a deep dive. And so I want to say, coming today, Joe, at your invitation, the timing could not be better. For myself, a spiritual practice, I mean, we live a spiritual practice with every breath on this planet. And with every breath in every moment, I have the choice to live as though it's true for me that joy is a special wisdom, and meet every moment presencing through my heart, or not. Because the or not is the thousands of other choices that I have in any given moment. Because let's face it, it's a hot mess out here right now. We are living at a moment in time on this gorgeous planet that we all call home. There you go. Thank you for the repeat. That we all call home. When every major cycle, from cosmic cycles to inner planetary cycles, are turning. Joanna Macy calls it the great turning. We signed up for this, and it's our turn. It's the giant bell curve moment that, for those of us who have studied some history, probably the easiest one for the Western part of the giant planet is the Dark Ages. That was a bell curve moment. Can you imagine living in the Dark Ages, which some of us probably did, and not realizing that we were just 1 or 2 steps away from a Renaissance, as people were burning and books were burning and darkness was cascading? Well, we are at another turn of the spiral. And the way the planets have been aligning, and particularly on December 21st of 2019 on the solstice, which is also the annual global silent minute, 1 minute of silence together, uniting hearts across distance and with those on the other side of the veil for global peace, cooperation, and unity. This moment it's at 0 degrees Aquarius when those two planets came together on solstice, right? Jupiter and Saturn. They said, okay, every time we do this in a sign, somebody shows up. So when they did it in Pisces, Jesus was born. When they came together at that degree in Scorpio, Muhammad was born. I could keep going, but I won't. Well, I will do one more. Buddha, right? Buddha, Taurus. When they came together in that degree in Taurus, Buddha showed up. So what's happening on the planet and what is the coming one that we speak of? That's a whole other conversation as we unite our hearts and revive the global heart where we get it, that our hearts are on loan to us. And they're on loan to us so that we can connect. My history in politics, it's about connect, not convince. So that we could connect and we understand that our hearts beat as one with the mother of the world. Our hearts beat as one with the cosmic magnet. So in the midst of this all systems breakdown, there's an all systems breakthrough. We're the solutionaries. We're the storytellers. What's the story we're telling? And it isn't just about telling. It's, as Joe said, it's about living. We are the living demonstration model, each one of us, and as a group, a living laboratory in the midst of the great turning. So it's up to us. It's an experiment. I say we go forward and go for what we want and not try to fix the caterpillar, which a lot of people are trying to do right now. They're trying to heal the caterpillar. Caterpillar isn't sick. It's just trying to turn into a butterfly. We need to focus on the butterfly and not try to make the past the present. So that being said, worldunityweek.org, many of you are probably already aware of that. Joe and I will be doing a heart walk, me like this in a Zoom room with some friends, talking to Joe as he walks around the White House in Washington, D.C. in the USA, and at the top of the hour at 5 p.m. New York time, D.C. time, at 9 p.m. GMT, we will observe the global silent minute. And do you know that last December, when we did the annual one, we had over 70 million people connect from all over the world. So there must have been more than that, because that's what we could statistically say. So there must have been more than 70 million people. We're so close to a tipping point. We're so close. You could feel it, right? And it isn't about being falsely hopeful. The signs of hope are signs of fiery hope on this planet. And we are fiery beings, and fire burns everything except fire. So between Ungun Institute and Global Silent Minute, that's keeping me pretty busy with World Unity Week right now. And it's not busy. It's like beehive busy. We are really creating the world that's going to work for everyone. So I'm delighted to be here. Look forward to experiencing the practice and to having a conversation with everyone.
Thank you, Dot. Let's all take a breath. I need to take a breath on that. So apparently we didn't need the conversation. I didn't think we would, because what you said was just so beautiful, and you can just feel it came from such inspiration, from higher inspiration. So thank you for being a vessel for that and sharing from your heart in the profound way that you did. I'd like to lead us in the practice now. And then again, we'll have time afterwards to reflect. So once again, we're going to do this practice. For those of you who are here for the first time, as I always say, there's no right way to do this or wrong way to do this. It's about finding your way. And this practice is to help us, as Dot was saying, is how do we become part of this movement to step into being who we already are, and convincing ourselves that we are that, and in this moment of transformation that's happening, to cultivate within ourselves a deeper level of resilience and fierce compassion. And to model what I believe how Dot moves through the world, this is through my eyes, of course, to embody the skills of presence, awareness, balance, and flow. So sitting in a way where your spine is straight without being rigid. Also elongating the back of your neck so that you're tucking your chin a little bit. Your jaw is relaxed, your shoulders are relaxed, your belly is relaxed. Bringing your awareness to a point in your lower belly, what I call your center, which is approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel and 1/3 of the way into the body from the front of the body. So if you want to investigate where that is, if you put your fingers together, you place your index finger over your navel. Where your pinky resides, that's approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel. Now bring your attention now from that point inside of your body about 1/3 of the way from the front. And see if you can place your full attention on that spot in this moment. It's what I call your center of gravity, impulse, where your personal power resides. Center of awareness, how you perceive your reality. And the more we can cultivate a sense of perceiving our reality instead of thinking our reality or feeling our reality, the more we are in alignment and in tune with things as they unfold. Placing your full attention on your center. From your center, become aware of the parts of your body that are connecting with what you're sitting on and the ground. Your contact points, your anchor points. Feeling that contact, feeling the sensation of pressing down, that gravity brings you down closer. And those parts of the body picking up the signals of stability that get activated through the whole nervous system, and the brain activates a whole cascade of hormones and responses that whispers the message, you are held. Let yourself be held. Mother Earth is always holding you. What I always say, Mother Earth does not discriminate. She holds each one of us equally. Let yourself be held. From your center, become aware of your physical body. All you're doing now is listening on a deeper level. So listen to what your body has to say to you in this present moment. Learning the vocabulary of the wisdom of your body. Sensations, tension, relaxation, rhythm of heartbeat, depth of breath, all information. From your center, become aware of your emotions. What emotions are you present to at this moment? Without judgment, simply observing, assessing, and in the spirit of presence, awareness, balance, and flow, creating space to allow them to flow through you freely. All feelings are welcome. From your center, become aware of your thoughts. Not what are your thoughts, but how are your thoughts in this moment as we develop a deeper connection with the present moment. Maintaining a connection with your core is the foundation of this practice, your personal power, awareness. Bringing awareness to your heart, in the middle of your chest, where your heart power resides. Compassion, connection, unity, wisdom, respect. And from your center and from your heart, become aware of the part of you that has access to something larger than yourself. And as you connect with that part of you from your center and your heart, notice in this present moment what your connection may be at this moment with something larger than yourself. Could be humanity, highest values, something spiritual, allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. Now with this awareness within yourself, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, from your center and from your heart, take a full deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. As you stay connected with yourself in this present moment, building on that, simply notice in this moment your own personal boundaries, establishing your own personal space. That space around you where you feel safe, you have the right to claim in all directions, behind you, above you. And from your center and from your heart, now stretching just outside of your boundaries to everything that's no longer your personal space as you connect with your surroundings. From your center and from your heart, placing yourself in a context, in this moment, in this place, this point on the planet. With more an awareness of yourself and your surroundings, from your center and from your heart, take a full deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. With this awareness of yourself and your surroundings in this present moment, from your center and from your heart, become aware of those who are joining today in this global meditation, this global practice. Various parts of North America, various parts of Europe, perhaps other parts of the world. Coming together in unity, considering how just with your presence and awareness from your center and from your heart, how you might be influencing these very people at this moment and how they may be influencing you. As we share a vision of imagine, as we say to each other and hold in our hearts, imagine a world where we've left violence behind. Imagine. With more of an awareness of yourself, your surroundings, and those in this meditation circle, from your center and from your heart, take a full deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. As we practice cultivating deeper resilience and fierce compassion to be able to hold more beings in our hearts with ease, with this awareness of yourself, your surroundings, and those in this meditation circle as a foundation, providing courage and support from your center and from your heart, becoming aware of all human beings, beginning with those human beings that you would label loved ones. So with this support, with this level of presence, imagine who arises in your heart. What faces do you see of people that you would label loved ones or groups of people? Standing face to face from your personal power with honor and respect, connecting with their personal power, from your heart connecting with their heart. And from your heart communicating to them, imagine a world where we've left violence behind. See the impact of that on their hearts. Allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. And from your center and from your heart, becoming aware of those human beings that you would label stranger. Who arises in your heart? What faces do you see? Could be a neighbor, could be someone you saw at the supermarket, a child you saw on the newspaper or on the news or in social media, groups of people on different parts of the planet. Considering that now your heart is opening to probably billions of people, And as you stand face to face with them, from your personal power in your heart, connecting with theirs, from your heart, communicating to them, imagine a world where we left violence behind us. Perhaps seeing their hearts receive that. How might that influence them? And from your center and from your heart, becoming aware of those human beings that you would label adversary. Who arises in your heart? What faces do you see? Groups of people? How does that influence your sense of personal space and safety? How does that activate your nervous system or the level of open-heartedness you have at this moment? All valuable information. And as you connect with them from your center and from your heart and their center and heart, from your heart communicating the message to them very clearly, imagine a world where we have left violence behind us. Noticing the impact that may have had on them. With this awareness of yourself, your surroundings, those in this meditation circle, and all human beings, regardless of how you label them, loved one, stranger, and adversary, as we all connect as one. Imagine all of us in our hearts whispering to ourselves, our hearts are on loan. We are all to service to one another with our hearts, from our hearts. And with that, taking a deep, deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Imagining or sensing or becoming aware of the effects of the practice so far in your nervous system, in your heart, your level of open-heartedness, sense of personal power, connection, hope. Bringing all those human beings into your heart now, holding them in your heart as you now bring your awareness back to those in this meditation circle. As each one of us in circle hold the whole human family with us in solidarity, in community. With honor and respect, taking all of those in this meditation circle into our hearts as we bring our awareness back to our personal surroundings. Taking into the whole human family and those in this meditation circle into our own surroundings. Taking our surroundings into our heart as we now bring our awareness back to ourselves. And with the deepest love, whispering to yourself, in case you didn't really hear it, imagine a world where we've left violence behind us. Sensing the impact it has on you in this very moment. Maybe rejoicing. And with more of an awareness of yourself, your surroundings, those in this meditation circle, all in your heart, bringing it back to yourself. Let's take one final breath to close this practice. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Slowly open your eyes, looking around the room you're in, stretching your body, shaking your body a little bit. So we started with our motivation, beautiful words from Dot. We did our practice, and now we have some time to reflect. Is there anyone who'd like to share any insights or any experience or have any questions for Dot or sharing from your heart with Dot? You have to unmute yourself. Is it Dot? I think that you're now the host for some reason, because Todd has gone. So I don't know if you do know how to unmute everybody. I'm sensing that they probably got cut off.
Oh, we can talk. I think we
Okay.
can unmute. That's all right.
Okay.
That's great. So thanks for organizing it.
Yeah, everyone is free to unmute. Yeah.
Jacek, did you want to share?
Well, this is my second time. I think this is a great idea to have this meeting. And unfortunately, it's sometimes in conflict with my work, but if I can, I think I will be joining in. It's fun. It's not only fun, but it's very kind of refreshing. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Jacek.
I like it.
Thank you.
It's really empowering, I think. And as you know, I'm a scientist, so it's kind of interesting perspective. Like again, and I read a lot about books, and I never practiced, but I have theoretical knowledge of the Buddhism approach, and I like the idea of this being an experiment that you can experiment with your mind, and so you're your own laboratory. So I'm looking forward to get deeper into this experience.
Thank you, Jacek.
I would enjoy to share something. It's my first time to join you all here, and I really like this sentence, and I think I'm just going to casually pepper this into my conversations with whoever I meet, because as we were going through this and as I was face to face with strangers and adversaries, I imagined that if there was some little consciousness that suddenly just had this moment of whisper of, imagine a world where we've left violence behind us, that gets people to just stop in their tracks even a millisecond, the incremental shift over time will be enormous. So I'd like to bring in these little whispers actively as I go. So thank you so much for this little beautiful secret superpower sentence.
Thank you, Franca. Yeah.
I like that you say whisper. In Agni Yoga, it's said that when a child is very, very young, like still in the cradle, every evening, whisper to the child as it falls asleep, remember, everything is possible. I've always loved that. And that's what it just made me think of, Franca, that, yeah, let's whisper this to the human hearts.
Yes. Anyone else? They're
Tori.
Go Tori, go Tori.
I found it interesting of the different emotions or reactions of the loved ones, adversaries, and strangers, which I started to feel like a reflection of myself, but the reactions that I perceived when I said, imagine a world where we left violence behind, from like deep breath, like, is that possible, to resistance, to humility, to inspiration, to just sheer emotion of like, oh my gosh, like really feeling that in your body or in my body. And so I just found it curious of so many different emotions that arose in me, saying that to the different people and in myself.
Funny, people must be so floored because usually they're much more talkative. So it's interesting.
Cheryl is about to say something.
Oh, Cheryl.
Yeah, I think I was moved also by that sentence and the the vision. I mean, I had like, I could see like rainbows swirling out of people and then swirling and touching the next person, and then it just a giant swirling rainbows that were kind of cascading across the globe. And yeah, when we got to the adversaries and that those rainbows were still swirling, they were just like these blocks. Stop. And then the swirling kept running around them, and they just kind of curled like a snail or something into the sand, so the energy could continue. That was just sort of a visual experience I had. So thank you, Joe and Dot and everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. You know, as you say that, and I love, Jacek, when you say you're a scientist, my mind immediately goes to wonderful, because science and spirituality are starting to have some serious conversations on this planet, and that's what needs to happen. Because yeah, spirit is science, basically. But as you were saying that, Cheryl, you know, psychosynthesis is one of those things. It's what inspired, really, in a way, transpersonal psychology. And so we know theoretically, and we get it, that no one can make me think, say, or do anything. But then we're like, really? No, because and so the shift that's happening when you were describing like the sand going, I always think of the Wizard of Oz and the pail of water on the Wicked Witch of the West. And it's like, because the meanness and the cruelty and the obstructionism and all of that, it's not real, and it's not who we are. And so the more we have the capacity to live and love through the heart, and love absolutely everyone through it, while we hold everybody accountable. And that means we shift from living from the outside in to the inside out. And you just kind of described that in your journey. So thank you.
You're using a lot of what you're saying is it helps me to clarify the mission of and the message of fierceability, which is this idea of, you know, that you can love someone and still hold them accountable, and they don't cancel each other out. In fact, they support each other. There's love in holding someone accountable, and there's something accountable about how much you can love.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could say something. I was really, I heard it in a new way, this idea, like, let's not bring the past into the present, but and that's how I tried to word that in this practice, is let's bring the future into the present. Can you say something more about that?
Yeah, because the future is the present, right? And I'm going to say it in an almost silly kind of way, but you know, most of us drive our vehicles, our form vehicles like a car, looking in the rearview mirror, which is why we bump into everything and everybody, right? Because we're constantly getting gripped by the past. So we have work to do to release the trauma, to heal all of that. But basically it's like people get in a relationship, then they want to change to another relationship, and they have to make the other person bad to go there. No, just stay in the present and go to the next relationship and love what was and is no more. It's like a bottle of milk. So you buy a bottle of milk and it's wonderful. And you put it in the fridge and you use it and whatever. Then 2 weeks later, you go to the bottle of milk and you're like, ooh, oh, that is a chemistry experiment. That is not good. So you have to get rid of the bottle of milk. It doesn't make milk bad. It just says its use by date is up. Every single system we have lived under on this planet right now, everything is turning, everything is shifting. Its use by date is up. Do we have the wisdom of the heart, the capacity within ourselves to recognize that, like recognize that, get it? That's what we know this. And instead of trying to make the past the present, or make the past bad, or try to fix the past so we can keep living it, it's like, bless you, we're going to take the lessons learned. Here we are. Let's create the future that is a world that actually works for everyone. It's a new era. That's who we are. That's why we're here. let's have some fun doing it as well. My goodness, because if we get lost in the hot mess and there's so much pain and suffering. So the only other thing I'm going to say, Joe, because I'm looking at the time too, is that our point of identification is critical. If I identify outside of myself and as something other than essential self, I could do a deep dive. I don't choose to do that anymore. That's a spiritual practice.
Beautiful words to end by. So thank you, Dot. Deeply.
Thank you, everyone.
So before we always, first of all, Dot talked about, Todd put all of the links that of websites and URLs for what Dot spoke about, particularly World Unity Week. And particularly if you want to join us for this joint event that Todd and I are doing, this the Heart Walk Around the White House combined with the Global Minute of Silence, on June 25th from 4:45 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get in touch with us at info@fearcivility.org. We don't have a link yet, but we will have a link. If you're in the DC area, please get in touch and join us. Come and walk with us around the White House. And if you can't, do your own heart walk or just join us on Zoom anywhere you are on the planet. The more hearts we can get walking at the same time, the more we anchor this very thing that we're doing. I've already created the imprint of the heart around the White House in September for International Day of Peace. It's been anchored, and now we're just going to elevate that on June 25th. So let's dedicate this energy. It's a miracle, statistical miracle that these 25 people or so have come together. Let's honor that miracle and the energy we've generated here, and the hope for the present moving into the future and the future moving into the present. May all these energies support each one of us in our endeavors, anywhere where we're struggling and we need to step into a deeper level of feeling empowered. May that happen. All of the beautiful events and projects that Dot is working on, and may they thrive. On Gun and all of the others, may they thrive. May all the projects that each one of us are working on thrive. May each one of us have our hearts awaken in the most profound ways that are uniquely designed for us. And may all human beings and all beings on this planet have enough fresh water to drink and food to eat. And may all governments and leaders govern from a place of wisdom and compassion as opposed to fear and greed. Any contributions you want to make, you can do that on the Fear Civility website, which supports that project. As I say, we're here every week. Please join us. If you know people who you think would enjoy coming, please pass on the word as we build community. I wish you all a great week. And please take this to reverberate. I get to experience Dot. I'm blessed more than just once.
Yeah.
So I hope you take this and you get to do that as well some point. Have a great week. Thank you, Dot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you, Dot.
Thank you.